اللهم انفع الفاتح.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث السفراء الأكرمين، والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله الحكيم في الذكر الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
For English section today, I've got some questions. So inshallah, I'll discuss them first, and then if there is some time left, I'll share beautiful hadith from Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The first question is, why were Injil and Torah not protected? The answer to this question is, in fact, all the religions, they stem from one source, that is Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the divine religions. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from time to time updated the Sharia, the fundamental principles such as Tawheed, justice of Allah, prophethood, the concept of Qiyamah and the Imamah, and other fundamental principles of faith, they remain same throughout the human history. But how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how to gain salvation, how to succeed in our life in this world and in the hereafter, Sharia, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept updating, upgrading. And if you want an example, the killer example is, for example, Windows. When Windows started, there were different types of Windows: Windows XP, Windows Me, and then Windows 7, then Vista, and so on and so forth. And then came Windows 10, and they announced that it is the final version. So in the same way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept updating and upgrading the Sharia until it reached to its finality, and that is Islam. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a seal on that, and that's why Prophet Muhammad is called Khatamun Nabiyyin. The seal of the prophets. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in fact, didn't need to protect them, because they were no longer applicable. Human society developed to the extent that based on the teachings of Torah, based on the teachings of Injil, they could no longer gain their prosperity and best of their success in this world. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed the methods, changed the Sharia, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent other rules and regulations. The previous rules and regulations were no longer in need to be protected. And the second question I've got here, why do we mourn for the length of times that we do? 1st of Muharram to 9th of Rabiul Awwal. Yes, we mourn in fact from 1st of Muharram to 9th, 8th of Rabiul Awwal. And this 8th of Rabiul Awwal, that is kind of cultural. In Indian and Pakistani communities, we mourn until 8th of Rabiul Awwal, but in Iraqi and Irani communities, generally they mourn for 2 months. And these 2 months are extremely important. You all are aware that Imam Hussain والسلام, arrived in Karbala on 2nd of Muharram, and the 10th of Muharram, he and his companions received the Shahada, and then the miseries of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, the calamities, they mounted further, and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, they were taken as captives. The household of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and they were paraded from city to city, from town to town, and those days are extremely sorrowful and sad for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, and that tragedy continued until Arba'een, the 20th of Safar. And then they departed. They stayed in Karbala for 3 days. When they arrived on 40th of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, they stayed there for 3 days, and then they left, in fact, Karbala for Medina. And based on our calculation, our ulama's calculation, they arrived in Medina on 8th of Rabiul Awwal. There is no historical evidence that they arrived on 8th of Rabiul Awwal, but most likely they arrived on 8th of Rabiul Awwal. That's why we continue all the way from 1st of Muharram till 8th of Rabiul Awwal. So there is the second question, and then we have third question. Why did Imam Hussain alayhi salam ask for water from Shimr? Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, of course, he knew that Shimr was wicked and extremely wicked. He was not going to give him any water. So the question is, why did Imam Hussain alayhi salam ask? Imam Hussain may have asked to express his mazlumiyah, to let the world know how thirsty Imam Hussain was and how wicked his enemies were. Perhaps that was the logic behind asking the water. And when we understand the depth of mazlumiyah of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, we are more and more attached with them emotionally. Only mental attachment with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam is not sufficient. We understand that the power of love is far superior than power of brain, power of understanding. So if we just understand Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, we reason everything, that is one aspect of our connection with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. But the second aspect of our connection with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, which is far deeper and far intense and more important, of course, far more important than the first one, is heartly connection, emotional connection. Our emotions and our hearts, when they get intertwined with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, then we are moved and then we are ready to make all the sacrifices for the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, as they have done for the sake of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the fourth question is, in namaz Fajr, Maghrib and Isha, when in Jama'at, do we not recite anything in the first two rak'ah or just the two surahs? As I explained on the day of Ashura, before Salatul Asr, the exemption is only for the two surahs. So in Jahri Salah or even in Ifati Salah, if you are attending Salatul Jama'ah, then you must not recite the two surahs in the first and second rak'ah by yourself. Suratul Hamd and next surah, and in the second rak'ah, Suratul Hamd and next surah, you should not recite these surahs by yourself, only in the first and second rak'ah. In the third and fourth rak'ah, you should recite either Suratul Hamd or Tasbihat al-Arbah. You have two options in ordinary situations when you do Farada namaz as well as in Jama'ah. Either you recite Suratul Hamd one time or three times Tasbihat al-Arbah followed by Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. The second option, recitation of Tasbihat al-Arbah in the third and fourth rak'ah, whether you are praying Farada or in Jama'ah, is more rewarding, is better. So the same rule will apply for Salatul Jama'ah as well. So that exception is only for the surahs and only in the first and second rak'ah. Apart from these two surahs in the first and second rak'ah, every dhikr of Salatul Jama'ah must be recited by both Imam and Ma'mumeen. However, Ma'mumeen should recite with Imam or a little bit after Imam, preferably a little bit after Imam. So these were the questions. And the hadith I would like to share with you is very beautiful, and this hadith is for Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
A man comes in the presence of Amir al-Mu'mineen and asks a question. And in fact, in one question he asked 4 questions. He says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what is wajib and what is more wajib? And then he asks second question, what is hard and what is harder? And then he asks what is qareeb, close, and what is closer? What is strange and what is stranger? Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam replied to that individual in a very, very interesting way. To his first question, what is wajib and what is wajib tar? What is wajib, obligatory, and what is more obligatory? Imam said, what is wajib or what is obligatory is obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah.
And what is more important than this wajib? Refraining from disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we pray, when we fast, when we give in charity, when we give khumuz, when we do all these things, that is called performing our wajibat. But refraining from sins, avoiding sins, that is more wajib. That is more important. In fact, that protects our good deeds. You all are aware that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam one time said that if you say one time Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will plant a tree for you in paradise. So a companion said, Ya Rasulullah, we say, for example, 1,000 times Subhanallah throughout 24 hours. We have 1,000 trees in one day. So just imagine how many trees in paradise you will have in 365 days. 365,000 trees in paradise in 1 year. And if you live, for example, 50 years, 70 years, 80 years, you keep multiplying. Rasulullah said, yes, there is no doubt. What I said, I reiterate, I emphasize. But the point is, you must be aware. You must be aware. You must be attentive that you do not send fire which is going to burn those trees and those gardens. Says, Ya Rasulullah, what do you mean by sending fires? Rasulullah said, when you commit sins, those sins are converted into fire and they go and burn those trees. So what is wajib? Obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is wajibtat? More wajib, that is refraining from disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second question, what is close? And what is closer? Imam says close is Qiyamah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, اقتربت الساعة. Qiyamah is close. And what is closer? Your death. When you die, your personal Qiyamah begins. We have two types of Qiyamah. General Qiyamah, that will take place on the day of judgment. General standing, people will stand and will be resurrected. So that is general. But once a person dies, his personal Qiyamah begins. He is cut off this world. Now he cannot come back to this world. Now he cannot perform the righteous deeds. He cannot increase in his provision. So once we die, death is a kind of Qiyamah for us. So Qiyamah is close and death is close. And then the third question was, what is hard and what is harder? Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib said, Qabr, when we enter Alamul Qabr, Alamul Barzakh, that is extremely hard. Or what is harder? Entering in such realm, entering in such world empty-handed, that is even harder. And the fourth question, what is strange and what is stranger? Imam Ali said, this word is strange. If you look at the word, it is strange. Imam Ali describing this word, he uses only 3 words. Ad-dunya, tabur, tabur, tamur. This is the best description that one can give for dunya. And who can define the word better than Amirul Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib?
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
What is dunya? Tabur, tadur, tamur. Tabur deceives. Dunya deceives. Tabur harms. Tamur moves swiftly. This is the story of human being. Majority of people, they are deceived, they are captivated by the charms and temptations and glamours of this world. So dunya deceives. And then once they are in the trap of dunya, dunya harms them. And the harms of dunya, they are irreversible. And then the third stage is moves swiftly. When destroys a person, kills a person, inflicts damage which cannot be repaired, then the dunya moves to other customers very swiftly. Ad-dunya tabur, tadur, tamur. So Imam says this word is strange. What is a stranger? After witnessing all these deceptions, all these harms, all these losses, and all these distractions by dunya, still there are millions of people, majority of people, who are falling in the trap of this world. This is strange. Let's recite aloud salawat.